As a filmmaker, sometimes I need a creative challenge. The other day, while casually playing with my Nintendo 3DS, it suddenly hit me. This little thing has a camera. I couldn't help but wonder, could I actually shoot something cinematic with it? Let's face reality. A Nintendo 3DS is not exactly a cinema camera. It's quite the opposite. We have two cameras, as you can see, with a resolution of 640 to 320, so it's SD resolution at 30 FPS. We all became really spoiled with 8K, 120 FPS, a lot of dynamic range. This camera has none of that. We have no manual control, so we have to rely on some tricks that we will find out together. So my end goal is to shoot something with this that people would say, oh, that looked really cool and I want to shoot something similar. My biggest fear with this camera is the low light performance, because there is none of that. There is no low light performance. This camera will have a lot of noise even at a sunny day. So my extra challenge is also to shoot at night. So my next step is now trying to figure out how can I trick the camera to get me a better image. So before we start, here's a comparison between my camera and this one, so that we can see where our starting point is. So this is the image from the 3DS. Write down in the comments how bad it really is. And so let's try to figure out how we get an amazing image out of this. So the first step now is to check the menu, and we will try to find some internal camera techniques that we can change to get maybe a better image. This is the interface, and the first thing I see is the lens that we're using is not very wide. It looks like 35mm, maybe even 50. As you can see, we have a few options here. We can switch between video and photo. But the most important thing, I hope when I push that button, I can do something. It seems like we have two camera mode. We have normal, which means night mode. And we still have manual settings. We have filters. We have normal, black and white. Could be useful. Sepia is never a good option. Negative is a real cool option, but it's also something that we can do in post. And we have contrast, sharpness and exposure. Check what sharpness does. It looks even more digital on the screen. So I think it's fine that we turn it off. No digital sharpening. If we want to sharpen something, we will do it in post. It's most of the time a little bit better than something like a 3DS would do. Contrast, maybe we get a little bit of a log footage if we put it down. No, so let's check what night mode does. Maybe it goes down with the shutter so that we can let more light into the camera. We have the same settings. And as you can see, we have this stutter effect. Maybe with this effect we can do cool transitions where we whip the 3DS around. This is really good that we have this option, so we can make something more cool or special at the end. So we have the option to turn 3D. This is actually a 3D camera. We have two lenses that create a 3D image, and you even can view it without glasses. That's, I think, a really cool technology. So our first challenge is, how do we get the 3DS on a tripod? And I think I have an idea. So because our tripod is in use, we will use this. My goal is now to put it in that place. These ones should do the trick. It looks like it's not long enough, but this is not a problem. You can stick them together. I wanted to make it really satisfying, but that's not satisfying at all. It will do the trick. So I started the recording, and this is the look we are getting. As we can see, the image is really bright. We don't have an option to change the exposure. As you can see, if I put my hand in front of it, the exposure goes up. When I put it away, the exposure goes down. So there is something like a sensor doing this. Because it's the 3DS, we have two cameras. I'm wondering, it's maybe if I cover the left one, we get no image, and if I cover the right one, the exposure goes up. When I remove it, that's perfect. That means one camera is for exposure and one camera is for the image. Now my strategy is to use this flashlight from my phone and shine it into the lens. That will trick the camera that the scene is really bright and put the exposure down. I hope with this trick we can get a little better balance of our exposure. I hope that works. Something happening? Why it's getting brighter? Should be... it works. If I put the torch away, we got that really gross exposure, but I think with this level of brightness, we're really nailing the exposure. So now that we've figured out how to get the right exposure, now we have to check the image stabilization. Can I do some handheld work with it, or is the footage so shaky that it has no potential use. I'm really taking care of my movement. It looks okay. There's a little bit of shake, but I think that's fixable with warp stabilizer. As you can see, as I move the torch, I really can control exposure. And this looks still awful, but I think a little bit better than before. Next one is the fun mode, the rap video mode, like I would say. It's a slow shutter modus. Okay, as you can see, we cannot control the shutter. Because of that, we don't get a lot of motion blur, which is essential for the effect. Now it just looks like a stutter. So the trick that we have to do is to make the camera think the image is darker so that the shutter goes up. So we fixed the exposure problem, we fixed the stabilization. Now my biggest fear is color rendition, because I think the project we're going to shoot will be a fashion video. In a fashion video you can get away with everything, so it will be really washy, fast. The plan is to shoot something really dark, moody with colors, and I don't know what the color rendition is. The shoot is today. I could test it before, make the room dark and use a little bit of colors to check the image quality. But where would be the fun with it? Today it's gonna be a hot test. Will it work? Will it doesn't work? We will find out. So my friends, as you can see, this is our setup for today. If you came closer, we did a vertical setup with the 3DS. Settings are all locked in like we talked before. As you can see, it's pitch black outside, but this was the plan. When you see later the result, you will understand. When I turn the camera into pure darkness, you will see nothing. The first lamp that we use is this Ulanzi 40 watt lamp. It's full RGB. As you can see, we can switch and also turn the colors. It has an internal battery. We can last around 1.5 hours. Depends how much power you need, but it's a great small unit to a project like this. The second light we have is this small rig torch light. As you can see, we have 4 different colors. This torch light also has the internal battery. It's really compact. And as you can see, the plan is to make a lot of movements. The camera is not very low light capable, so we need a lot of moving light and flashy light and colored light to make it a little bit more interesting. So, let's begin. We're done with the shooting. The first thing I did was load up the footage into DaVinci Resolve, and that's the moment this problem occurred. At the first moment I was like, damn, was this all for nothing? But we stay calm, don't panic. I put the footage into CapCut, and maybe the problem was just that DaVinci Resolve cannot read the material because it was an AVI file. I put everything into CapCut, rendered it as H.264. At first I wanted to do ProRes, but the resolution was 640 to 320. I don't think that I get a better result if I rendered it in ProRes. But I rendered it in 1080p because it's for social media and that's the right format. I don't think I got a lot of quality loss because there was no quality. I will show you now the result and you will tell me if the 3DS is the next potential cinema camera.
But baby, never say never, never say never. Never say never, never say never.
I'm actually really proud of that clip. It turns out really great. I wanted to make a series out of this, so write down in the comments which camera I should use next, and maybe you can even write down what I should do with this camera. Should it be a short movie or should it be an action clip? You can decide. One of the easy tricks you can do for a cool look is shoot a blue hour, combine it with red light, and you will get a very cool color palette. Even the camera movement was quite okay. I put it on a tripod and used it as a glide cam, but the mistake that I did was the variety of shots. If you like this project, I really appreciate if you like the video and follow me on social media. This was Marco Bagnoli and we'll see you next time.